The lesson.
Oh yeah.
Now I know you've been working on it for a little bit,
Too long.
and once again you managed to squeeze another battle in there.
Yeah. Couple.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the last one you had was in New Zealand.
Yeah. And I had like 8 in that period. So I did 4 at home, like 4 Australian ones. 2 in the UK and New Zealand. So what's that? 7.
So can you brief us through? I mean, who were some of the, particularly like the internationals?
The best one I feel like, and pretty much the moment that I feel like it was all worth going back to that, forum, is the one in London against Sol, because Sol was the champ of Europe at the time. Like I kind of just caught him at the right moment, and it was really dope. It was different. It wasn't like there was no big story about it. There's no like fake, you tripped Timmy over on the playground in year 3 and all this shit. Like there was none of that. It was just really, he's a really good rapper, and we just had a really great trade-off. Quill was one that was in Leeds, but he's from London. That was cool. That was another good one, just a bit long. And I did, in New Zealand, I went against a kid called Jibs. In Australia, I had Greeley, Jay Roach, Barry Bonza, and Nicotine. So that was like, I think in the last, since probably '09, when I did that first one against Dan, that's probably like 11 or 10 or 11, I think.
Yeah, I remember bits of the Greeley one.
Yeah.
I remember the Nicotine one.
Yeah.
That was pretty entertaining from memory.
Yeah. Well, we're on to something good there, like with that like Don't Flop Oz thing. But again, it's really hard for like promoters to stick around forever because it's not really popping like that here. Like, and it's hard because you want them to do well. But yeah, it's kind of like if you do enough events that don't really crack, you become disheartened,
Yeah.
So there's a pretty quick turnover for that. That's why shout out to like Real Talk and and Amped Up and all those guys, because they've been doing some really cool shit too. But if you can stick around long enough, like kudos, man.
Yeah,
It's
I think
not an easy thing.
Real Talk just had Cortez down.
Yeah, they had Cortez and Dunn. They had Cortez and Cortex. I think they just matched in with everybody. But yeah, Prime was actually telling me about that event. He's saying he's watched a few of the vids and it's really good.
Yeah, word.
Because they're doing really good. Like Real Talk have got some really top quality like pay-per-view type shit. Like they'll put it out the next day and you can buy access to it before it goes on YouTube. But it's like really high quality. So they're kind of hitting that point now where they could be sort of like the staple, I guess.
Your last one, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Jibs.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about this. What happened? Like I know you said some out of line shit.
Yeah.
I mean, give us your take, because some people will say that in battle rap anything goes.
Yeah.
And I guess that'd be the whole argument.
Yeah.
Now, obviously you disagree.
Well, it's not necessarily that. You just gotta, like, battle rap's not real life, but it takes place in real life. So if I can reach you, you should be comfortable standing by anything you're going to say. So, but there is a generation that was raised on sort of like the Arsenals and stuff, and Arsenal's a sick rapper. Like he's one of my favorites to watch. But that sort of, it's for the shock value, and it's sort of like they kind of take pride in saying the most wild shit rather than the best shit, like the best quality shit. So I think, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, the internet's got cowards saying some crazy, like, brave shit. So, I don't know. For me, it's more about the trade-off. It's about the sport and, like, the skill in it. It's not necessarily about just saying whatever the fuck. Like, I'm not going to mention your dead friends, and I'd expect you not to do the same because, the reason why people do that now is because they see Arsenal do it, and a lot of rappers do it, but Arsenal's like a 6-foot crib from New Jersey who's in the gym 3 days a week. He can kind of say that because unless you he kind of has an edge. But if you're just like a kid from the suburbs, you should be pretty mindful of that shit, because you're kind of counting on people's mercy. You're counting on me being like, oh, it's cool. And you can say whatever you want about me personally, but you're not going to start fucking going down the Rolodex of everyone I know personally and calling them out, because they're not involved in it. Like, they're not here to rap. They're not rap battlers.
And then, so did that sort of make you change your mind about getting back into the ring?
Nah, it was the opposite. It was actually way before that. So my plan when I got my deal, I was like, no, you know what? I want to do a couple more. I want to like round this out. I don't want to just get my deal and sneak out the side door. So I was like, I'm going to do New Zealand, I'll do the Done one, and then I'll do the Disaster one. Because Diz is always, at that point, was calling me all the time trying to set it up. But as soon as I booked New Zealand, I realized how much of your headspace that takes up. And it was starting to fuck with my studio time, like immediately. And I track myself, so not with other people. But immediately I realized how much time that shit actually takes away. In my head, I always thought that I was keeping it on track because I'm writing a lot every week. I'm rapping a lot every week. But there's not enough songs there, because a lot of it is I'm giving 2 hours to you on a Wednesday that I should be doing my music. Like,
Yeah.
So it was more like I realized, fuck, I don't have the time for this shit. I got a really great opportunity now. You know, an opportunity people would kill to have. So I got to make the most of that. And this is my like window to jump through to kind of have a string of great albums, you know, which is the one thing missing. I got a album I'm really proud of. I had a lot of mixtapes. I kind of did all that, did all the battles. The one thing that is missing that will carry me is a string of great albums. So that's like my priority now. It definitely didn't help, but it's like, if I'm going to put that much time into some shit to give someone a kind of a look that I know that they don't need or know what to do with, it's like, it's a lot of dead time, you know, a lot of dead time for absolutely zero reward. Like, it's not an industry here the way it is in the States, where you could like make money off doing that. You're kind of just getting shit on by fuckwits perpetually for $0. Like, so I still support it, and I still, you know, I'm still rooting for guys like Dunn and shit. Like, I hit him up the other day when he went to Canada again. Like, it's dope that there seems to be enough good guys now that I don't need to be there, really. Like, he can run it. There's a bunch of other dudes that are really good, and they can kind of, it's their time. Like, it's Dunn's time. It's the perfect time for me to fall back. And the fact that there's people who can go now and represent us in these other markets and not miss a beat, like he's real quick, and not miss a beat and misrepresent us and shit, like, that's part of the reason I was back, is because we didn't really have anybody again. Like, the Manazes and the Grillies are like the best dudes at that time, and they started to do music videos, which is exactly what everyone should be doing. Like, because anytime you can create a fan that you can bring back to that, you're going to help it get bigger. But when they fell back, it was like there's nobody, really. And if it just kind of, I filled the hole in the wall. You know, they needed somebody, and that was me.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.